Alright, today we're going to talk about Weiss reprints and these gold signature cards compared to the reprint version, which will be the silver ones. And I guess a little bit of backstory as to why I make these videos and why I guess I feel so passionate about calling these people out for being pretty much con artists and scammers is because I previously worked in the financial industry where when you pitch investments to people and you work like a salesman, right? But when it comes to the financial industry, there's certain safeguards, there's laws that require you to have a certain level of honesty where you can't just straight up lie to people in order to get them to invest in things. Whereas when it comes to cardboard, like trading card games, there's no laws preventing people from being scumbags. So this is why I feel like it's important for these people to get called out. So going back to the reprints, what I do see happening is the fact that there's a difference between the reprints having the silver stamps and the gold stamps. A lot of these stonks investors, what they're going to do is that they're going to try to make a big deal about it, like, oh, I really like the gold stamps instead, and there's such a big difference. And they're going to make, you'll notice, once it starts coming out like this set and then the reincarnated as a slime set, they're going to start talking and making posts about how much they love the gold signatures instead, and then start, showing them off again. Like every other video that I make, right? You're going to see these idiots show off these cards, and then they're going to try to say how great they are, show off their collections. And the reasoning behind all these posts is because they're trying to shill for their cards to make it so that the value of those gold signatures are higher, whereas in reality, the demand for it is probably not there. And I'm not sure if it's going to be the same thing that happens with the Marvel reprint, where the stamps for the Marvel cards are going to be silver as well too. But it's just something to watch out for. A lot of these people are going to try to downplay the fact that no one really cares about the color of the stamps. And I mean, on one end, it's good for the collectors, and I see what Bushiroad is doing, where they're just trying to keep everyone happy. But on the other end, as people that are just trying to collect these things, realize that a lot of times when it comes to first edition stamps, outside of maybe like a small minority, like a small group of people that are willing to shell out like thousands for these cards, most people don't care about whether or not it's first edition or not, as long as you're able to get the card and you have the card. But you just want to be really careful, right? If you look at all these cards, you'll notice, like, we'll use that Overlord reprint as an example. You'll see that all these cards are all sub $200, and the only time you've ever seen sales for any of these cards going over like $200-300 is the Albedo cards, which again, these people are trying to pump these cards up and trying to make the Albedo card a grail. And I'll be honest, before Weiss and all this like investment stuff, I don't think Overlord was even that popular of an anime in general, and they're just trying to make these cards a grail card because the Albedo SP is something that is not going to get reprinted, the TD one. So you just have to be careful about that. All these other cards are listed for like $200. That would mean that when the reprint comes, the reprint version should be even worth less, right? But even before the reprint happens, no one really wanted to pay money for these cards. So you just got to be very, 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 very careful about it. Because at the end of the day, over and over again, I feel like a broken record at this point. These people are just trying to manipulate the market and try to get people to buy these cards for these like jacked up prices where they're trying to make a market for it. Where, you know what? Originally, even now, like, people are not, they don't want to buy these cards because it's not really that popular outside of the Albedo, but that's pretty much artificial demand just for the fact that people somehow made this Albedo Endless Devotion card a grail, like the Bunny Girl Mai card. So going back to my point about the original gold signatures and then the new reprints, all the reprints going forward having this like silver signature to differentiate it, realize that the difference is not that big, and to begin with, the original gold signatures no one's willing to pay for anyways. So do not let the fact that the reprints come out and then these idiots are going to try to jack up these prices. Don't fall for these like sketchy sales tactics where, again, they're going to make all these posts talking about how valuable the original print are and how original the original print are and all these other things, trying to shill their own cards, right? Because, again, tie back to anytime anyone's trying to shill for their own stuff, and shilling, by shilling I mean showing off their collections and talking about how cool the original one is and all this other stuff, not for sale, not for trade, that's when they're trying to shill and raise the price of their own collection to sell back to you. And I always like to tie back to other card games as well too. So we'll use Pokemon again, for example. The Grail card, the chase card, everyone knows and everyone wants is a Charizard, right? There's the differentiation between first edition and unlimited. And you'll see that at the end of the day, people are, if they want it, they don't care if it's the first edition or unlimited. Most people in general just want the card. They don't care if it's damaged. They don't care if it's mildly played, lightly played, gone through like a dryer. Like, as long as they have the card, it really doesn't matter to them, right? So remember, like, people in general just want to have the card in hand. They want the art. Whether it's first edition or not first edition really doesn't matter for most people. And anyone that tries to shield you like, oh, first edition or shadowless or like this specific version of it is the best one, that's only because they already have investments in it and they have those cards. So they're trying to pump up the value of it so that, okay, mine is better than yours. And then I'll use one more card game as an example, and that's going to be Yu-Gi-Oh, right? There's Blue Eyes White Dragons. Everyone knows Blue Eyes White Dragons, iconic, right? And there's just like a bajillion versions of it. Outside of maybe like the Dark Duel Story promo, which came with a video game, which tops out like, I don't know, like $2,000-$3,000 or something like that. And outside of that, most of the time, if someone wants a Blue Eyes White Dragon, there's just so many versions of it. And in most cases, people are willing to buy these cards no matter the version. And the only people that really put stock in the fact that, oh, this version has a first edition stamp on it, or this version has like the small lettering that shows that it's different from the older ones, are pretty much just the people that are already invested in it and want to put the value in to say, okay, you know what? My car, even though it looks completely the same as yours, is completely different because mine is older. And if you look really, really closely, you'll see that it's different because of this small, tiny marking on it. So I'm going to call it out now. Again, when these reprints happen and you're going to see these people shilling for the fact that there's a difference between the silver and the gold, there isn't. It's the same exact card. And the only reason why they're trying to pump up the popularity between one version over another is the fact that they're trying to raise the price of whatever they already have. Do not fall for that. Just go for the cheaper version and just like ignore these idiots. But yeah, be careful. Thank you for watching. And again, always just look out for whenever there's new trends coming out. Anytime you see people heavily promoting something, even if they say not for sale and not for trade, realize that there's always a level of like, there's something behind why people push things really hard and try to make certain trends a thing. And you don't want to be the sucker that falls for it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.